Mom, you'll be so comfortable here. Don't worry about the house. We took care of everything.
When I returned from a routine hospital checkup, my house no longer felt like mine. There were strangers moving around inside, boxes packed high in the hallway. I opened my bedroom drawer. Not a single belonging of mine was left, not a single trace. The doorbell I'd once rushed to answer with a smile now rang for people I didn't even know. That day, I stopped being mom. I became baggage. I'm 67 years old. After my husband passed away 8 years ago, life got very quiet, but I found a new rhythm. Morning walks to the park, afternoons spent reading old mystery novels, evenings listening to the same jazz station, and on weekends, my son and my little granddaughter would visit.
Hey Mom, how's the back feeling lately? Still aching?
It's not what it used to be, but hearing your little one's giggles makes it all feel better. My daughter-in-law, Jenna, was sweet in the beginning. She would bring over homemade casseroles, help me with grocery shopping, and call me Mom with a smile that seemed genuine. I thought I had been blessed. A son who cared, a daughter-in-law who respected me, a granddaughter who loved me. Life wasn't perfect, but it was enough. Until one rainy afternoon, I slipped on the front porch steps. My hip shattered. Suddenly, my simple life was replaced with hospital rooms, cold white ceilings, and endless medical forms.
Don't worry about a thing, Mom. We'll handle everything. Focus on getting better.
Mom, do you need anything special? Clothes, toiletries? I'll bring whatever you need.
I trusted them. How could I not? They were my family. At first, being in the hospital wasn't so bad. Jenna came by every other day, bringing fresh fruit, clean towels, and warm smiles.
Mom, I made you some homemade chicken soup. Hospital food is awful. You need real food to get better.
She even joked about me coming home soon.
Don't you worry, Mom. We'll have you back home before you know it.
I believed her. I believed them. Then, one evening, Jenna arrived with a small leather purse in her hand. She sat by my bed, smiling sweetly.
Mom, about the hospital bills and insurance stuff. It's such a hassle for you, isn't it? If you could just give me your checkbook and your card, I can handle everything for you.
Well, I guess, if it's easier.
Of course. Trust me. I'll make sure all the bills are paid and everything's taken care of.
I handed her my checkbook, my debit card, my bank, pin, my birthday, easy to remember. I thought, how lucky I am to have family like this. I watched her tuck my life into her purse, hug me goodbye, and disappear down the long hospital hallway. I didn't know then that she was walking away with everything. The first few days after handing over my checkbook, everything seemed normal. But soon, Jenna's visits became fewer and farther between. Once every 3 days, then once a week. And when she came, there were no fresh towels, no fruit, no soft words, just short, distracted conversations and glances at her watch. I started to worry. Hospital staff began mentioning unpaid bills. The nurses grew colder, more formal. The cheerful atmosphere around my room turned into awkward silence. Finally, one night, alone in my hospital bed, bathed in the glow of my phone screen, I decided to call my son. David, it's Mom.
Hey Mom, everything okay?
I think there's been a mistake. The hospital bills, they said they haven't been paid. And Jenna has my checkbook and card. Do you know anything about it?
Mom, Jenna's doing her best, okay? You don't have to worry about all that.
But it's my account, my money.
Mom, we're already stretched thin. We've got kids, a mortgage, bills. You can't expect us to carry everything.
The call ended before I could say another word. I stared at the ceiling for a long, long time. The same ceiling I'd stared at during my husband's final days. The same one I'd looked at during every lonely night since. Only this time, it wasn't grief filling the air. It was betrayal. My own son. The little boy I once carried through sleepless nights. The boy whose hand I held crossing busy streets. The boy who once cried in my arms, now saw me as a burden. I wasn't Mom anymore. I was just a problem to get rid of. A few days later, I discharged myself from the hospital. There was no one to pick me up. No cheerful faces waiting by the door. A kind nurse helped me call a cab. She slipped a few bills into my hand discreetly, pretending not to notice my embarrassment.
Take care, ma'am, and good luck.
The taxi ride home felt endless. The city, once full of familiar streets and warm memories, now felt cold and strange. When I arrived at my house, something felt wrong. The front door was wide open. Boxes stacked by the walls. Strange men hauling furniture out to trucks. I stumbled inside. My favorite chair? Gone. The family pictures on the wall? Missing. The smell of Jenna's vanilla candles? Overpowered by dust and moving boxes. I hurried to my bedroom, the place where I felt safest. I pulled open my dresser drawers. Empty. Not even a single pair of socks. I rushed to my closet. Bare hangers swinging silently. Everything I had built, everything I had saved, everything that made this house home, gone. I opened my banking app, my hands shaking. Screen display. Available balance, $260.45. Tens of thousands of dollars. Disappeared. And then, sitting quietly on the kitchen counter, like an afterthought, was a letter from my son. Mom, we thought it would be better for you. We found you a wonderful assisted living facility. You'll be happier there. Please understand. We had to sell the house to make things easier for everyone. No signature. No apology. Just cold words. And just like that, my home, my life, my family, all gone. I wasn't mom anymore. I wasn't family. I was just a burden to be handled. For days, I sat in that nearly empty house, on the bare floor, with nothing but the clothes I wore home from the hospital. At first, I cried. Then, I sat in silence, too numb to even feel anger. And then, one night, flipping through TV channels, I stumbled across a segment.
Family financial exploitation is on the rise. If your loved one has mishandled your finances without your consent, you may have legal rights.
Legal rights? That night, I barely slept. I researched on my old, slow laptop. I scribbled notes in a worn-out notebook. I found a local legal aid center that offered free consultations for seniors. The next morning, I took the city bus downtown. Each stop felt like a lifetime. But I clutched my thin folder of evidence, copies of my bank statements, photos of the empty house, the cold letter from my son. Everything.
Ma'am, based on what you've shown me, this could constitute elder financial abuse, unauthorized use of your assets, selling your home without consent, neglect of basic care.
But they're my family.
Sometimes, family can cause the deepest wounds, but the law is clear. You have the right to fight back.
I signed the papers, a formal complaint, a lawsuit, against my own son and daughter-in-law. It tore at my heart. But I knew, if I didn't stand up now, I would lose not just my home, but myself. Weeks passed. Court dates came and went. Depositions. Questions. Paperwork thicker than the Bible. Each time I walked into that courthouse, my knees shook. But my resolve stayed strong. I wasn't just fighting for money. I was fighting for my dignity.
Based on the evidence presented, the court finds the defendants guilty of elder financial abuse. The defendants are ordered to return $92,500 to the plaintiff and to cease all contact for a minimum of 5 years.
It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even about the money. It was about standing up. After being knocked so far down, I thought I'd never breathe again. After the case, I found a small, cozy apartment. I bought a second-hand couch, a chipped coffee table, a tiny radio that sometimes worked every morning. I made my own coffee every night. I locked the door, knowing it was mine, no one else's. Sometimes loneliness creeps in, quiet and cold, but I would rather sit in my small apartment, alone with my peace, than in a house full of betrayal. If you ever feel like you're losing everything, if the people you trusted the most turn their backs, remember this. Your worth doesn't disappear just because they treat you like you're nothing. You still matter. You still deserve better. You still have the right to reclaim your life, just like I did. My name is still mine. My story is still mine. And now, so is my life.